Hey everybody, this is Dr. Paulette Hubbard, and I'm coming back to you to continue the conversation during National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And in my four-part series of awareness, understanding, planning, and then action, we're still talking about awareness. And in my four-part series, there will be several elements that I'll post throughout the month under the umbrella of awareness, understanding, planning, and then action. So when we talk about awareness, we can't move past the issue of awareness until we address the stigma that's attached to seeking mental health services. When someone gets cancer, we rally around them and we make sure that they have the support that they need. If someone has a heart attack, everybody rushes to the hospital to make sure that they're there to support and show support and make sure that they have what they need. When we talk about diabetes, people talk about it like we're talking, having just a regular conversation. But when it comes to mental health, shh, we can't talk about it. Why is that? What is it about mental health, especially when we know that mind, body, and soul and spirit are connected? But when it comes to those mental health challenges or those mental health illnesses that affect the physical and our spiritual being, shh, we can't talk about it. What is that all about? Why is it embarrassing or shameful, or we discredit individuals that may be suffering from some type of mental health illness or experiencing some type of mental health challenge? I've never understood that. And so when we talk about stigma and when we talk about those things that keep individuals from seeking the services that we need, if we start to and continue to have the conversation well beyond this month, continue to have the conversation about mental health and what mental health is, then we can begin to normalize the conversation, and it'll become as normal and saying that I have a mental health challenge or someone saying that they have a mental health illness. It'll become as normal as someone saying that they have diabetes, or what I used to hear the old people say is my sugar is up. So what is that? Why can't we move past this issue of it being embarrassing or degrading, or people lose credibility when they're determined to have challenges? And the other thing that bugs me beyond compare is that because we don't talk about it, those situations or those challenges continue to manifest, and they grow and they grow and they grow like gangrene until someone is what we consider out of control and not able to control those things that are going on with them. But if we start to encourage and support and help individuals that can't help themselves seek the services that they need, then we can move on to something bigger and something greater, and helping them become whole again. But what does that even look like when we talk about stigma? Let's talk about it. So we have the uncle that lives with Big Mama, the adult uncle that lives with Big Mama, and he spends majority of his time in the basement in the dark. Sometimes he doesn't address his hygiene, not eating, up all night, all of these things that are happening, and people's, the family knows something's not quite right, but shh, we can't talk about it. Or what about that individual, that uncle that the whole family knows, not just you, but the whole family knows because it's a family secret, that you can't leave your kids with that uncle that lives with Big Mama because some things might happen that shouldn't happen. But oops, one parent didn't know, and so they let that uncle babysit little Karen, and that uncle did things to little Karen, and things happened with little Karen that little Karen told. But shh, little Karen, we can't talk about that. And don't tell anybody that what happened to you or what that uncle that lives with Big Mama did, because shh, we can't talk about that. Instead, let's go get some ice cream and I'll take you shopping and you'll feel better and we'll pray about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in the power of prayer, but faith without works is dead. And so when we just pray about it, but there's no action behind it, how do you begin to heal? And so little Karen is silenced and she's told to pray about it. But in that, then little Karen begins to grow, and she grows up and she becomes a teenager and she becomes promiscuous, and she's always fighting and in fights and getting suspended from school, and she's just angry and all of those things that come with not having a trauma addressed. But the behaviors begin to manifest because, believe you me, if you've experienced any type of trauma, those behaviors, and you haven't addressed it in a way that's healthy and brings closure to the trauma, to resolve that trauma, trust, those behaviors have manifested in a number of different ways. But shh, we can't talk about that. And then we go on, and little Karen becomes a teenager, and she's angry and she's promiscuous and all those things that everybody knows. And everybody knows that this happened to little Karen, but nobody bothers to get her help because we don't do that in this family. We don't air our dirty laundry. So shh, little Karen, you just deal with it the best way you can. And then little Karen carries those behaviors over into adult life, and life continues to be dysfunctional and chaotic for her until someone like little Karen ends up in my office, and they've suffered for years in silence, and they come to me at the point where they're just broken and they don't know what else to do and where else to go because they've prayed and they prayed and they prayed and they prayed about it. And they're discouraged, not only mentally and physically, but now they're discouraged physically because they're still experiencing this pain, but they feel like God didn't hear them, or God's mad at them, or God didn't answer their prayers. Well, but nobody ever got little Karen help. Or what about that auntie, that aunt, that aunt, that however you refer to it, that